Hello, ex-St. Josephians, crazies for the principal, Mrs. Munira Gulzar. I keep forgetting, and finally something reminded me, the force with me. Although there is an evil force and a good force, remember the time when God listened to me for my principal, Mrs. Munira Gulzar, especially when I gave him the sake of Prophet Muhammad s.a.w.s. I was in Karachi and I had this feeling that she might not be well, but I couldn't call her. I didn't have the courage to call and ask about her. This was in 1997, I think end of September, somewhere September 21st, I think, or 27, 28. No, most probably September 1921. So I got my wish fulfilled. Someone else, my father, while I was crying, broken down in my room, my father was coming from Dubai, and I was praying for my principal to be well, and I asked God, for the sake of Prophet Muhammad, your beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whom Mrs. Munira Gulzar believes in and is a regular prayer sayer. She says her salats, and all this I was saying and breaking down. And please God, can you tell me through someone? I don't have to meet her if you don't want me to meet her or speak to her. But I just want to know if she is well. And when my father came, he told me, do you know who I met at the airport? And so it was my principal. He had met. She spoke to him. They spoke. He told me that she looked healthier than ever. More than me. But in 1996, when I was in London, I don't know, her son was in the OMI hospital in Karachi. And so she was there with her son. I had called her a week ago or so, but was not told about anything about her son being unwell. And so after 4 days, I was at visiting a friend, a stewardess friend, who was a stewardess. So I would go to her hotel room, and there I saw this movie in mute, because I didn't want to disturb my friend, although she said I could keep the volume open, but I kept it on mute. And so I was watching this movie, a very haunting movie. The mother was, worried, having these hallucinations of her son. I don't know, this is how I saw the movie, that the mother was having these hallucinations, worried about her son, and there was this some hay room full of hay, and then I said my tasbih, Ya Wali, and went to sleep. So in the morning I was very restless. I wanted to go home, and I was telling my friend, but she said, wait for me, I'm also leaving. so we leave together. But I was really restless, although we left together. And then reaching home, I don't know what happened to me. And I was thinking it's only 4 or 5 days past since I've called my principal, but I wanted to call her again. And so I had to go to this phone shop where we have this discount for international calls. So I dropped my bag in my hostel room and proceeded towards the shop. And when I called them, well, I was thinking it's only 4 days, 5 days, and she will start to think, that I'm getting quite obsessive about her or something like that. And that's how I found out through another family member of theirs that they were in the hospital. The principal, I was told, was in the hospital because of her son who was having a surgery in the OMI. And I was also told when they would be back home. So in my hostel, in the evening, nighttime, I started to meditate. And it was like a prayer form for me. First I requested Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Prophet Muhammad, to be with Mrs. Munira Gulzar in the hospital, OMI. And I was thinking, I hope, Ya Rasulullah, that you are beside her, even when she's going to the bathroom. And so she gets the strength, whatever she needs, she finds in herself, in the OMI. Oh, Rasulullah, I hope that you are holding her arm. And I was meditating that Rasulullah is beside her. And all the time that he would be beside her, next to her. And then I thought, oh God, maybe she could get she could get kind of scared that who's this man? So I was thinking how Rasulullah will tell my principal, Munira, I'm Prophet Muhammad, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I mean, so that was it. And then what happened is the day she was coming back home, that night I was trying to sleep. It was late at night, and or it was night time, and my sleep time. And so what happened is I started getting this fever, and then some intuitive feeling voice told me that this is not your fever, this is Mummy's fever, your principal's fever. And I thought, if it's not my fever, then this should go away. And it went away. I didn't feel feverish anymore. So I got up and sat on my bed. And then I thought of that when she would come back, the next day I would call to find out about her. So the next day, in the evening again, I went to the phone shop, and I called, was told by her younger sister that she has slight fever and she is resting. Then again when I called, and she was able to speak to me. So she told me, when I told her about the fever, you had fever, and she said yes, and so I was like, oh, and she told me, what is this? Oh. So there were many reasons, some reasons for this oh. One reason was that I had requested, meditated to Rasulullah, about Rasulullah being with the principal, but then how could she have fever when she reached home? And another thing was that I was told that it's not my fever, it's your mummy principal's fever. So then I went home for one of my vacations, and she told me that she wanted the Message movie, and I had forgotten that I had meditated and all this, and I got her the Message from London, original movie recording. Then she gave it back to me. She told me that I should keep it. So now, lately, last night actually, I was being told by this force with me that Rasulullah had come in her dream while she was sleeping in OMI hospital when her son was there in 1996, and that he had also touched her arm at the shoulder, slightly touching her shoulder, just below the shoulder. And this went on and on until I fell asleep, and I was doubtful whether I'm making this up, wanting to console myself now that Prophet Muhammad s.a.w.s. did heed my request and went to my principal, and this is how he said it. Munira, I am Rasulullah. Everything will be okay. I am with you. Touching her arm with his hand, just at the shoulder. So if this is true, then it means the world to me and more.